I know how to do graphic lines. In this video we'll learn how to do lines with more character. These can be used in vector inking. For this we'll use the stroke weight profiles. By default, the weight of the stroke is even. Their profile in the panel is uniform. You can see this also on the second row control panel. I want to change these lines to appear like they would be done with a brush. For this I select a profile that is thin on both ends. I select the paths and set the bold profile for them. Now the strokes are 7 points wide in their center and they get thinner to both of the ends. This creates a brushstroke-like effect. The other handy profile is the one that gets thinner only to the other end. This would be the profile that is a triangle shape. Now the line is 7 points wide only on the other end. These two profiles are the most useful in vector inking. The other ones on the list aren't as much. These profiles I can use in vector inking. I create the brushstrokes with a pen tool. The basic arch is easiest done with a click-drag method. I click on the starting points, move the pen to the end points, and drag. I deselect by control clicking. This is how I did the basic arch. This creates a gentle or weighted arch. If I want an arch that is more round, I should start with a click, drag on the center of the arch, and then click on the end. Click, drag, click. I can make a round arch also with the drag method. In this method I drag in the starting points, creating the handles straight away. This can be a bit hard to control because I need to know which way the path should fly from the anchor points in advance. So the basic arch is done by click, drag. The more complex by click, drag, click, or to opposite directions, click, drag, click. A complex arch you can do also by drag, drag, or to opposite directions, drag, drag. I can of course continue editing these paths with the selection tools or the anchor point tool. When creating new paths, Illustrator set the stroke back to 1 point uniform stroke. It forgot the profiles. If I want, I can select the lines and add a profile for them afterwards. Working like this would be quite cumbersome. I would like that the pen would draw my previous profile. In this occasion the pen would create a line that has the boat shape. By default, Illustrator forgets the profile settings. This feature is a bit hard to find. You first need to locate the Appearance panel. In this panel you can find an extra menu on the top right. From this extra menu I need to untick New Art has basic appearance. Now when I create a new line, Illustrator remembers the settings from the last stroke. I set a profile and a weight, control click and continue with a new line. The new line has the same profile and stroke than the previous one. I can now continue drawing with the 7 point wide bold profile. If I want to make the stroke thinner, I change the weight from the panel. This can of course be done also afterwards. When I have different profiles on the paper, I can select the settings of those lines by selecting the strokes. If I select this line by control clicking, my settings are now 5 points with a bold profile. I can now continue with this 5-point stroke. If I control click to select this one, I now get uniform strokes. This is how I don't need to change the profile from the panel, but I can pick them straight from the canvas. Please notice that you cannot create a new line from the end of a previous one. The pen tool will continue this line. You also cannot end a path to a previous one. This would join the paths. If you want the ends to be in the same points, you first need to create the endpoints and then move it with the white arrow. You can end the line inside an older one by just putting the endpoints inside the previous one. If you want the profile to get even deeper into the previous line, you can continue the line inside the first line. Sometimes this is quite handy. With these features, I can start doing vector inking.